It is the Lunar New Year, and it is traditional in this time to spend time with family. My family don't want to spend time with me, so it's back to miniatures again. You know, a lot of free time if there's no one else there. So hopefully, we'll get a lot of models done, and that can help mask my tears. So let's go back to discussing it.
Paint that bench. Paint that bench. Get them 2 thin coats on it. Yeah, get them highlights on after the base coat. Yeah, it's secrets of the painting bench.
Oh, you're gonna stop laughing now. You're gonna stop laughing. What do you mean? You're laughing. You're literally laughing on camera now. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. All right. Okay. Don't run from the camera. We're doing this now. Do you know she did her makeup just before this because she has to look pretty. That's what she told me. All right. Anyway. Okay. We're not laughing anymore. It's serious business. Okay.
No, just
stop laughing. Breathe. Meditate.
No, stop talking.
Get the zen in.
Stop talking.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
3, 2, 1, action.
Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to episode 3
Yes,
of
episode
Secrets of the Painting Bench.
Secret of the painting bench.
Today we'll be exploring some crazy secrets. Yeah, the wildest, most insane things you've ever heard of.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm Clio, obviously. This is Sidja.
Are you Claire?
This is Sidja.
Suju.
Also Sam. Also Shimini. There's a lot, right? Which name do you want to use today?
Strawberry.
Okay, yeah. No, we're not using that. Anyway, what do you think of miniature painting and wargaming?
It's fun.
Well, that's it. That's all we needed. It's fun. It's fun, huh? Okay.
Come on, don't make me silly.
Give us more detail. Why are you here? Why did you come on this show? That's what we're talking about. Tell us about miniature wargaming.
I'm curious about this.
You're curious?
Yes.
It's just a lot of candles are here to summon the devil.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. All right. Okay. So, let's get straight into those secrets. Okay. Now I have to form the conclusion because we have a conclusion.
I finished.
Yeah. Well, that's a segment. It's fast.
I didn't answer any question.
Okay. All right. Fine. Now it's time for you to answer the question about miniature wargaming. What do you think about it?
I think it's a magic thing.
Magic thing.
Yes.
Magical. Like those candles.
Spiritual.
What's so spiritual about it?
Magical, spiritual, you are.
My fire.
Okay, so that's my answer. Okay, I'm knowledgeless.
That was episode 3 of Secrets of the Painting Bench.
Okay.
Goodbye, friends. Okay.
The Wheend is coming.
It's going to ruin your friends, right? Yeah, okay.
Good day. This is episode 3 of Secrets of the Painting Bench. I'm your host, Clio, my real name, of course. And, this is... Should I describe what this is? Very quickly, it's just essentially my podcast where I outline whatever I feel like. Just random topics which I feel would not do well as standalone videos. And this is where I basically try to do minimal edits where I just talk into the camera and just tell you what I think with all the ums and ahs still in the final product, because I think like I'm gonna start rambling already, but I think sometimes my scripts come off a little artificial. The sentences clearly have been stitched together. I've noticed that myself. I think that's just a byproduct of the topics I talk about are for example, I remember when I was doing the Mauryan Empire, and I was doing research on that, and all these Indian names which I was trying to pronounce, and I was asking Indian co-workers and Indian friends how to pronounce certain things, and I got a rough idea, but I have to pause every time before I say a word in a language I don't understand. And this includes Korean and Indian, and so I feel the end product naturally feels a little artificial because I am actually editing around my own mispronunciations. Because what you hear perhaps in the final let's say if I was doing a Chosun Dynasty thing, video production, perhaps a line would be the Pengbesu would be in the front, and that's what you would hear, or the Pengbesu would be in the front, like something that doesn't feel natural. But the real thing would be me going like the Pengbasu, like that, yeah. So like a lot of edits cut that awkward stuff out. I realize I've just gone on a tangent without actually. I shouldn't be on a tangent this early. Anyway, all right. So I've got a rough outline of the things I'm going to talk about in this episode, and I'm just gonna ramble about those. Most of my videos take a very long time to make because I have to write the script, paint the relevant miniatures. This is a miniature painting channel, bit of wargaming, and I have to source all the footage, and all that takes quite a lot of time. I don't just talk in front of a camera. Now, I know how to do that. The concept is not beyond me because I do it for the opening and conclusion for every video I make anyway. I could just plop my phone right here and stare into my camera, but I don't, because that would be too easy. And like, this is the format, like the format of me just talking into a microphone with some random footage overlaid. That's just the format I have now. I can't break the format, it's a tradition. 3rd episode in. Okay, so to give this ramble some structure, I've devised 4 topics. So this episode will cover why there wasn't a Secrets of the Painting Bench in the last content drop, and why I only released 1 video. That's the first topic. The second topic will be the benefit of making unpopular videos versus pandering for views. The third topic is what videos and miniatures are coming out next. And the fourth and final topic is, does the alien or the predator have more narrative potential? All right. So rather than explain anymore, let's just go straight into the first topic of why wasn't there a Secrets of the Painting Bench in the last content drop? Now, I realized that of like my many subscribers, well, I think we're hitting around 250 at the moment. Many subscribers. Of the people that even watch my stuff, how many people watch this series specifically where I just ramble into a microphone and like in a very unhelpful fashion, because like I feel like a lot of my content tries to be vaguely educational. So this is like meta stuff. This is like behind the scenes background stuff. And so yeah, like the reason the last I tend to make videos. Oh my lord, I'm literally just rambling. Okay, so like I try to make content around every 3 months. For me, 3 months, look, a gap of 3 months between content drops does seem quite a long time. I acknowledge this, but my reasoning from the very beginning was I'm trying to make good stuff, which is time intensive to make. I'm not getting paid to do it. I have I don't have a following. No one cares if I do it every 3 months. Like, whatever, it's fine. So that was the initial reasoning. Now, I guess it's time to, I've got like more subscribers now, and I actually have a Patreon supporter. Thank you, the Command Bunker. I thank the guy in every video. And like, frankly, I never thought that would happen. Like, I know I put the link up like in the description of my videos, but like I was like, it's not gonna happen, like I just have it there. Let's see, like just to have it, because like everyone does it now. But yeah, so now like it's like someone enjoys my content enough to pay for it, which is like kind of crazy. I mean, like I do try for my videos. I just the concept of like being a YouTuber never really was something I considered. Like I was just thinking like, I'll just make some stuff because I didn't have that stuff when I needed it. Like for example, I made the Celtic painting guide because I was making Celts and I didn't find any useful guides which would discuss the history and like the different themes of a Celtic army, for example. And like that's what I wanted. And I couldn't find it. And so I was like, why don't I just make it? Because I know I can do it. And like I used to make videos like for fun when I was younger. So I just did it. Anyway, so yeah. No. Why wasn't there one in the last one? Okay, so I make videos every 3 months, and it's a lot of work. And the last one, the Chosun Dynasty painting guide, was very, very, very time intensive. That was a hard video to make. Just FYI, the build up for that video, I was collecting footage and painting miniatures for it for literally years. A lot of my painting guides have a very long production time, and people might not realize it, but like just to paint all the miniatures is very time intensive, right? Because like when I'm painting the miniatures for an army guide, I'm painting the miniatures, I'm considering how I paint the miniatures. Like there's thought into it. Because if I didn't have a thought process for it, why bother making a guide, right? If I'm just randomly putting on colors without like being aware of what I'm doing or having an overarching idea for the army, there's no point making a guide because I don't even know what I'm doing. When I make armies, I usually have guiding principles and guiding concepts and themes for each army when I make them. That's just how I do things. And so naturally, it makes sense to compile the ideas into a guide. Even for my own references, because I watch my own stuff sometimes just to remind myself like, oh, what was my guiding principles? Oh, I better check the guide. But my guides are usually written. They're the ones I consult. But yeah, so it was very difficult. I was also waiting for the final film in the Admiral trilogy to drop, the Noyang Deadly Sea of Death. Deadly Sea. So when it was getting released, the marketing for it was Noyang the Sea of Death, which I thought was very cool. But then they changed it to Noyang Deadly Sea, which I think is far less cool. So I was waiting for like the footage, because I like to take footage from popular media of that army to put it into the guide, just so people like have like a reference point for content that they can go out and look for themselves, that they want to find content for their army to consume to inspire them. Because like a lot of inspirations for miniature tabletop wargaming comes from popular media. That's just how it is. You know, like Gladiator, the original movie, inspired a lot of people to study Roman history in university. You know, we get our references from the media we consume. That's just the nature of passion projects and inspiration and such. And so yeah, so like I was collecting a lot of footage. I was doing a lot of behind the scenes work. I was consulting with a lot of people, some very helpful amateur historians, about Korean history and the military of the Chosun Dynasty in particular. I was translating things using Google Translate. I can't read Korean. And compiling it because it was so hard for me to research it. I thought it made sense. Like, of all the guides to make, I'm very proud of that one, even if it doesn't get that much overall coverage or reception in the broader, like, miniature painting sphere, because it was so useful for me, and I know it'll be useful for people who want to recreate the Chosun Dynasty. If for the Imjin War or any other conflict, well, I mean, that's really the defining conflict for them. But yeah, like, that information's hard to find. It's not available really in English publications. You know, you got to go direct to the source, the Korean source. And I know that, I mean, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that if you were making a Chosun Dynasty, you'd want to know details about the army, how the historical accuracy of the uniforms, what kind of media you can reference in making your army. So I'm very proud of it. It was very difficult to make though, because I had to collect all this footage, and then I had to write my own primer, basically, on how the Chosun Dynasty army worked in English, pulling together many sources, because when I'm collecting information, I have like this massive Google Doc, and there's just stuff everywhere. And compiling it into something coherent and cohesive takes a lot of time. It just does. Sometimes you get contradictory information, and I have to clarify that with someone, or just do my own research, be like, what? Hold on, this doesn't make sense. I obviously have questions sometimes. And like, because like when you're in the process of trying to understand something, you want to know like, oh, but why where does the commander stand in this formation? Why does he stand to the side? Just as a random example from what I remember. Did everyone wear armor? What kind of armor did they wear? What percentage of what kind of armors were there available to people in the formation? And there's like, it's kind of like, I'm so used to like, I mean, you know, if you look at like Lord of the Rings and like the Men of Gondor, random reference, but Minas Tirith, everyone's got the same plate armor because it's a movie, right? But uniforms just straight up didn't exist until like the Edo period. I mean, for a long time of world history, uniforms just weren't a thing. So you just turned up wearing what you had, and so there wouldn't be a cohesive look. And like, if you don't know history and you just learned this, you're kind of like, whoa, like, then what do I do? Because you don't know what to do. Like, no one's, people just go, historians would just be like, well, they could be wearing anything. You're like, but then how do I depict it? Like, what was just like anything is not a good basis guide for, like, I need clear rules here. Give me some clear guidelines. Yeah, so I had to work a lot of that stuff out. And to the best of my ability, I tried to create something useful out of it. So that was very difficult. And just as I finished it, literally the day after, I was taking a flight with my parents. So my parents wanted to go on holiday, and so I was like, all right, well, you know, they're getting old, gotta go. And so, like, yeah, I was on holiday afterwards, and that was a decent holiday, but it was like it's obviously exhausting to be traveling with your parents because, like, I mean, I was gonna make a joke here, like, you know, like everyone's parents annoy them. My parents don't annoy me, but like, you know, like traveling can be physically exerting, mentally exhausting. You're just in a completely new context, surrounded by exotic accents and new foods and new concepts and weird places, and it's good for expanding your horizons, but it's like you get back after how many X weeks, and you just want to settle back in your routine, and the first thing you don't want to do is go launching into a new production, you know? So that's really the reason. It was just exhausting traveling. It was exhausting making this production. It took very long. I forgot exactly how long it was because it was a while, but I think like, it could have been 3 weeks to a month just making that one video. Very time intensive. I don't know if it comes off when you see it, but genuinely very difficult video to make. Just getting everything together. Oh, wow. So that's really the reason. I was just pooped. And I was like, because like I originally in my head, I'm far more ambitious than my capacity allows me to be. If I could, I'd make like 10 videos every content drop, but I have a limited time, obviously, limited creative energy. I do try, but you know, like what can you do, right? So yeah, I figured that my contribution to the miniature tabletop wargaming world in providing a guide to the Chosen Dynasty, which no one on YouTube has done so far. I guess I got to be the one. I thought I was like, all right, I've contributed, I've done my bit, I'm gonna take a break, and so I did. So that's the reason why there wasn't a Secrets of the Painting Bench episode 3 last time, and we're gonna make up for it this time. So yeah. All right, yeah. Okay, so the second topic. Second topic is the benefit of making unpopular videos versus pandering for views. Okay, so this is like a concept which I've been thinking about recently, and so I thought it'd be fun to discuss because this is my talk show / podcast / like ranting into like the walls in my room, inside the basement of my parents' house. And so like, I'll just say whatever. Like, I don't even know like very few of you watch this. So it's like you're only watching this if you like care about like the behind the scenes or the meta or like random thoughts of things. You know, I don't know how wide of a reception this is. Anyway, so yeah, so this kind of feeds like, making the Chosen Dynasty. I know it's not popular. If I spend a month making an unpopular thing, is that a good idea? In terms of views and financial returns and all that stuff, probably not. But that's not the reason I made this channel, right? Because I made the channel because I wanted to make useful content for people that wanted to do, who have the same interests that I have at the moment, which is historical wargaming.
I know what's popular. I'm not an idiot, right? So like I recently made a battle report for One Page News, you know, like the Warhammer alternative. That's popular. People like that stuff, you know, it's Warhammer, you know. We got like the Astra Militarum, and we got like Nurgle Demons, and Warhammer's like got the monopoly on the wargaming market. You know, Warhammer sales for miniatures is the highest by far. It's no contest. It's indisputable. I made a samurai trailer, and that's been far more popular than the Chosun Dynasty trailer. If you look at raw figures, you know, like it's all samurai. Everyone's commenting, "Oh, I love Japan samurai," and like you know, everyone's clicking. Like I can see behind, like the stats show me. Oh, everyone loves samurai. You should make the samurai. I like samurai too. Don't get me wrong. I've been to Japan multiple times. I like the samurai. Samurai cool. And I know it's popular. But that shouldn't be the reason. I don't want to make stuff because it's popular. I don't want to make stuff because of the views. Because if I really wanted to do that, I wouldn't be making a YouTube channel for miniature wargaming. This is a very niche topic. I'm not doing this for the ink. I'm not going to get paid for this really. Like, I know this. I do this because I want to do it, right? So I should, based on that logic, I should make stuff which I want to make. And sometimes, like, I have this altruistic desire to make useful stuff. And I know that won't be popular. For example, the Chosun Dynasty Guide, very hard to make. Not popular, not as popular. I mean, you know, people watch it, but it's not that super popular because there's a large segment of the world which has no idea what the Chosun Dynasty even is. Fair enough. You know, it's not like McDonald's. It's not like relevant to everyday stuff. That's fair enough. But I'm interested in it, and I think it'd be useful. And I think there will be people who are interested in recreating the Imjin War on the tabletop, or even just interested in Imjin War in general. And then they want to know, like, oh, what was the Chosun Dynasty army like? Because maybe they're like military history. And then there's just nothing like in the English language there. And they're like, oh, well, you know, like, I guess I just never know. Well, I think the guide is useful for people who want to have that starting point. You know, they can look deeper if they want, but like, you know, I think I think there's it's a bit self-righteous to say it's a public good, right? I'm not preaching. You know, I'm not starting a charity or anything, but I like to make videos which I feel would benefit the knowledge of the broader community. Whatever that means. Is there a community? It's a bunch of people who like playing with like toys when they're like adults, basically. But you know, like, I like to make useful videos. They don't necessarily have to be popular. And what is useful is obviously a subjective measure, but the intent is to be useful, to make helpful things for people, I guess, which I'm obviously interested in too. Like, that's very important, because if I don't care, like, it's not going to happen. Like, you know, that's just how it is. Like, I mean, I think it'd be helpful to make an army guide on the Imperial Roman army. I mean, I've got a Roman army, technically, with the beginnings of one. I've had it for like 13 years now. But like, that's not coming anytime soon, because I just don't have time to make everything. Yeah, so I think it's important for me personally, I'm not just going to pander for views. I want to make stuff which is popular, obviously, but more important than that is to make useful things for my own interest areas. And if my number of my subscribers suffers, or the watch time, like, I don't want to sound like a guy, I'm like counting the stats, like, oh, my subscribers. Like, it's not a huge concern. It shouldn't be a huge concern. I'm not doing this to, like, this is not a financial business. I'm not running a finance company. That's not how it works. I know this will never hit that kind of success. So, knowing this, I should do what I want to do, and part of that is just useful stuff. Useful stuff for cool military history topics, basically. So yeah, that's really, the benefit for me is that in my mind, is that it is more needed. You know, we've got countless battle reports online. We have so many guides on painting Space Marines. You're just having different like ways of people telling you, all right, then you highlight the edges, and then you're done, and then you paint the lenses. Like, you know, we have that. We don't need another variation of it. I could make that guide. I've painted Space Marines. I have a Black Templars army. But, yeah, I don't think it'd be that useful. So I'm not going to do it. So, yeah, I think the benefit is it's more helpful to make guides for niche topics. And hopefully it can inspire other modelers to do their own stuff. Yeah, this is going to be a very rambly episode. Okay, all my secrets of the painting bench thingies are very rambly. I feel like that's just how I want to do it. Yeah, because I don't have to edit and just say whatever. Okay, wow, 22 minutes. Okay, yes, the third topic is what videos and miniatures are coming out next. Okay, so I was actually going to make more videos this time, but I'm making this instead of the more videos and then making the secrets of the painting bench to close it out, because it has been very draining making this content drop too. Like, you know, with the best value 172nd set, the Chosen Dynasty, K-drama stuff, the battle report, the trailer, and this, and it's rounding out to be a nice 5 videos. You know, it's draining. A lot of work goes into these videos, and so I'm going to save what I was going to do for this content drop for the next content drop. What's on the list? All right, so spoilers. Well, the samurai are well and truly underway, so I want to make a concept video for the themes governing units of Ronin and warrior monks. I think there's a lot of richness and pop culture infusing these units, you know? Western pop culture has an idea of what Ronin are. Western pop culture has an idea of what the Sohei are. There were actually one called Sohei during the Sengoku time, but yeah, you know. And more broadly, I think it's helpful to examine how I go into unit creation, what I think about themes and narrative, which is how I make most of my units. I mean, all my units. So there's that. There is a fun little project which I was going to do this round, but I'm exhausted, so I guess I'm going to save it for next round. But if I say what the premise is, will ruin the whole thing, because I really like it. It's like it's a new production. It's like a set piece. It's hard to describe. But I've got that on the cards, and it's all filmed. I just have to edit it, but I really, really like it. Obviously, at some point, a samurai painting guide, and also an Eco-Iki painting guide. The problem with the samurai painting guide is there is a model I'm waiting for, and there's problems with the production for it, but I really want it. And so I was going to wait until the model gets made and then paint it and then add it to the guide, but it's been frankly months. But I'm not losing hope yet. We'll see. And the Eco-Iki are nearly done. I've painted 3 units for it. I've got like the movable shrine, I've got the warrior monks, and I've got the Ronin. And so I just need a last unit of what could it be? What could it be? It's going to be pirates. And so that will be done first, and so I might as well just make the guide for that first. But yeah, I mean, yeah. So there's also making a guide on Ming miniatures in 1/72nd scale. What is available in the market? And I think a lot of viewers are not expecting this, unless you're watching this, watching/listening to this. This is your spoiler, but I think again, it's not going to be popular, but it's going to be helpful. It's going to be educational. It's going to be about miniature markets, which you've probably never heard of because it's literally not in English, and miniatures which you've probably never seen. And I think that's very interesting. I like to break new ground. I don't want to get like no views, but like it's to me, it's like I want it to be helpful. So there's that. Also on the radar for videos that I could make are perhaps the best miniatures for medieval and the ancient period for 2023, because I kind of skipped out for that year. 2023? Yeah, 2023. Because basically I was making another video and I was doing some painting, and I was like, by the time that I could have made it, it felt like it was too late. And I was like thinking like, should I turn this into a series? like the miniatures year in review. Is that a thing I should make regular? And I thought about it, and I was like, it seems a bit basic, right? Like it's just like very run of the mill. But I guess like it is like it's a helpful thing to have, you know. My commentary on like the miniatures which I think are the best for that year. Obviously, because my opinion matters so much. Like, I don't know. I guess it's helpful to like have like miniatures assessed as like the best of the year, because it can help people like with buying decisions, and I guess like it's good for summary. So I'm considering making that video now, like halfway into 2024. You know, good time for it. And I just learned today that I got published in War Games Illustrated for August 2024. Now I'm not going to make the video for that now, but that's probably going to be in the next content drop, because if I leave it too long, it gets weird. But I don't want to do it now, because it's like, yeah, if I make it, like, are you going to buy it? Like, it's like, I'm not like, you know, I'm just kind of tired. I don't really want to make that video. Like I should, if I wanted to like really promote it, but it's just been a long content schedule. Like I've just, you know, like real life is getting in the way, and I want to do it well. I don't want to just like have the intro, then just quick read. Like I want to be creative with it if I can, and I don't want to feel like I'm forcing it. But if I do it now, I really feel like I'd be forcing it, and that's not really good for the quality of a video. So in the interests of quality control, I'm going to refrain from making that video this time. That's kind of the most like prominent right now. So let's just go with that. That's probably the content drop for the next one. And so the priority is finishing the unit of Woku, Japanese pirates. I've got some great sculpts from Saga Miniatures, who make decent STLs. I've got some custom STLs from my friend in China. What else do I have? I'm green stuffing some Caesar Miniatures Ninjas into pirates. And I've got some random STLs from way back, which I think I found on 3D Cults 3D. So I think that's going to be fun. So that's really the priority for now. I do want to start making Ming Dynasty soldiers, but I got to finish the Japanese first. One step at a time. Okay. Now, the fourth and final topic is, does the alien or the predator have more narrative potential? Okay. So this series, Secrets, where we uncover secrets. How many secrets have we really uncovered? Like really? I can talk about whatever. Like I think like this is like the kind of like the off-topic chat discussion section of the forum. Like whatever, you know, I'll just talk about whatever. I think it'd be fun to just introduce a random topic which I think would be interesting for rigorous intellectual and academic debate, you know? Like the hard questions, which might not have a space, because this is a wargaming channel, so I can't deviate too much, I feel, usually. But if I just have like a rambling podcast, it'd be good to have like fun topics. Now, I'm not trying to like draw too much ire, so we're not going to talk about politics or whatever, but you know, like Alien Predator, fair game. Okay, so my thoughts, and I'm just kind of standing in the dark, like rambling to my phone. So this is a bit weird, but like I think like it's important to get like categories, like and definitions and like some ideas and some base ideas put down on the ground. Okay, so let's kind of explore ideas of both the alien and the predator. The alien, if you don't know what the alien predator is, like you need to like go to the cinemas or like Google, like have you been living under a rock? Come on, like alien predator. Anyway, I'm going to assume you know what the alien and predator are. If you don't, maybe just don't listen to this. But yeah, so the alien by nature is well suited to be a horror antagonist, I suppose. But the nature of this antagonism in a narrative is of an unthinking
beast, basically, a monster, right? But the nature of it is that it's alien. It's in the title, but its very life cycle is very strange and evokes many body horror tropes. You know, the life cycle is to invade and use a host to perpetrate its existence and the next generation. And so, in this violent, parasitic usage of a host, evoking many ideas of violations, like sexual assault violations and such, with the penetration of the facehugger appendage, you know, which is reminiscent of a phallic member. The subsequent implantation of an egg, much in the way that some insects implant their young and into still living hosts, which then burst out. You know, literally a rape, right? A sexual assault of a victim, which then kills said victim to spawn the next generation. There's a lot of body horror tropes. There's the unknowable horror, unknowable monster horror trope, the beast beyond the stars. What else would there be for the narrative archetypes for the alien? I mean, I'm trying to ignore setting because I think like it could be flexibly, the alien could be set in an ancient setting, like, you know, the Aztecs with AVP1, a modern setting, AVP-R, the future with most of the alien movies. I feel like setting agnostic, the core narrative beats of the alien creature and the movies is body horror and the horror of just a monster, an unthinking monster which cannot be reasoned with, cannot be negotiated with. I'm thinking of the Terminator now, but it's a creature that doesn't have sentience, so it is effectively. Does it have sentience? I don't know. It's a creature. It's represented as a creature where you don't try to communicate with it. It's just out to eat you, right? It's an animal, and so I think there's a limitation in terms of narrative when conveying the alien, because as an antagonist, there's not much depth other than the body horror, right? Like once you do that, and it is a very visceral thing to convey, sure, but once it's done, what are the beats do you have for the story? Like how many movies can you milk out of that? Like body horror, sure, okay, yeah, all right, you know, like you can fill time in a movie. It's a monster which stalks you. You know, there's a fear element to that. It's an intimidating creature, but it can't be reasoned with. So how much character depth can an alien really have? Unless you start like having weird, like alternative aliens which you can like communicate with. And I know one of the recent video games, I forgot what it's called, but it has an alien implanted in an android or something, so it can talk. But like it kind of runs counter to the idea of this. The very nature of what the alien's meant to be thematically, which is this like indestructible, vicious, vaguely insectoid monster, right? Because you can negotiate with it, if you can understand it, that takes away some of the fear. But that also, by its very nature, limits the kind of narrative which you can convey with the alien, I think, right? It can't really ever have too much character. It can't have dialogue. So that means and what this means in practice in the Alien movies is there's always like an antagonist, like the android Bishop in Alien 1, or like various like corporations like Weyland-Yutani, who are like the real villains or whatever, who provide like the depth of nuance for an antagonist, basically someone who's trying to exploit the aliens. Would we consider that secondary antagonists? I guess so, yeah. Like people who are trying to exploit the aliens, but therefore like provide like some kind of nuance, some other direction of villainy for the movie to take. But I think that's kind of inherently limiting. for the alien itself. So the alien is like a visceral villain. It's a villain that tries to get you through your hindbrain instincts, you know, like the fear of being eaten, the fear of being raped, you know, because it's this creature that can't be negotiated. But there's only so much, a very scary animal, but there's only so much depth in terms of story an animal can provide, right? I'm not making this content about what's cooler. What do you like more, the alien or the predator? I mean, that's been debated. But I'm thinking in terms of narrative potential, right? You have the alien, which is like, like I've said it. I think I'm almost repeating myself. That's not good. But I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. Like, it can't, like, what, I mean, you know, you can put it in any setting, but it's like the core theme of it is like body horror and stalking. Right, yeah, that's basically my thought. I haven't like written this down, so this may be a very amateur take on it. But the Predator, completely different. The most recent movie being Prey. Did it come out last year? Maybe 2 years before, but it came out relatively recently. And the Predator movies have similar beats as well. So what is the Predator? It's an intergalactic hunter, a taker of trophies. It kills for sport, and has advanced technologies, but it doesn't utilize them to its max capacity because the thrill of the hunt is part of its imperative, but also the narrative beat of the movies. And so I think there's a lot more potential there because you have a creature. The predator has communicated with its foes, with the human beings it hunts. For example, numerous examples, but the one that's coming to mind is AVP when they do a team up. But there's potential there, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a villain. The predator can become a protagonist, and it does in Alien vs. Predator. It can be a straight up antagonist if you want, because we can identify with a creature that has advanced technology, but therefore, if it can communicate, if it has identifiable wants, it's not just some unthinking beast, it is another species. Well, we can find traits in that which we as an audience identify with. So it can be a protagonist, it could be a neutral third party, the story could pose a question of whether the predator is protagonist or antagonist. But there's many directions that could be taken. Now, in terms of the idea of sentience, the predator is sentient, probably, and so that opens up, in terms of narrative, a whole bunch of things. You know, you could have predator rom-coms, predator like pseudo mock documentaries. I mean, they're not going to make a rom-com, but you know what I mean. Like, as in, like, having character depth allows many different kinds of genres of movies to potentially be explored. Also, you know, the predator's tech being primitive, but you know, like, they have guns. They have the what do you call it? Shoulder mounted, like the cannon, shoulder cannon. But they use blades and such because it's part of the sport, right? It's not sporting to just gun down everyone. That's not the point of the hunt. It's to prove themselves. And so, you know, the technology, the advanced technology facet, you know, the honor facet, the trophy, the culture of trophy taking facet, all very fascinating, all potential narrative beats. We could explore, you know, more about the Predator honor code. We could explore the technology. We could explore culture, perhaps language. And if we look at the beats of the previous movies, which is basically the Predator hunting people, sure, that's a bit predictable, but it doesn't necessarily have to play out in the same way. It's not like you just go from like the jungle in Predator 1 to like the city in Predator 2. I think if you look at the Predator as an antagonist, it has agency in a way that the alien doesn't, because the alien essentially embodies the self but can't comprehend the self. Does the alien have self-awareness? I'd argue not. Like, you know, it's probably just acting purely on instinct. It doesn't display any evidence of higher levels of thinking. I mean, it's obviously a very smart animal, but it's still an animal. So I think the Predator movies don't have to just follow this formula of Predator stalking people. You know, it's its own species. It can be its own character. This allows it almost to be a substitute of the human character, human protagonists in many different genres. Like I said, potentially rom-coms. Stupid, shouldn't work, but there's that potential there. And so I think in terms of narrative, you could do a lot with the Predator. Yeah. I realized, like, as I've like started talking about this, like, to me, like, it was an idea I kind of wanted to talk about, but then, like, I realized, like, there's not much. This isn't complicated, is it? It's like, it's just kind of like on an intuitive level, you kind of know, like, the Predator has you know, like, everything I'm saying is maybe vaguely intuitive, and maybe I'm just wasting my time. So maybe I should just stop it here. But I was thinking, like, just to myself, like, vaguely entertaining the idea of, like, what kind of movies they could make for Alien and Predator, and, like, why they would work in certain ways. I'm interested in genre and narrative and such. And so, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. Yeah. Okay. I guess I'm going to call it wraps. Thank you for the Command Bunker for sponsoring this video. Staying true to the hobby. You know, good on him. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. And yeah, hopefully we'll do more of these at some point. I guess maybe the next content drop. Who knows? It's very unpredictable.
Okay, so that's all the miniature projects for this period. A lot of models. No one to see it with, but that's how it is sometimes. You know, like just got all the plastic men have to compensate for all the real life human beings that are missing. I don't know. I think that's the healthiest relationship you can have with figures. So let's okay. So, you know, good luck with your figures and stuff.